Wow. What a crowd. What a crowd. Oh my. This blue and yellow. We're disturbing the place. We're disturbing the place. I see we had a bit of a sideshow here. The intruders. But we are not going to be deterred by them. At least they come and they listen to some common sense. But my dear good brothers and sisters, we're having a wonderful time here in the constituency of St. John City East. The battleground for the Honorable Brother Harold Lovell. And I just want to give my dear brother and colleague a rounding endorsement. And I want to say to the people of St. John City East, you cannot have a better representative than you have in the Honorable Harold Lovell. Not only has he dedicated many, many years of commitment and service to this constituency, but he has dedicated a lot of time and energy in providing leadership for the future development of Antigua and Barbuda. And my dear good people, when I had the opportunity to appoint Harold Lovell as Minister of Finance after the last general elections, I have to tell you that he came on board at a time when things were difficult, not only in Antigua and Barbuda, throughout the world. But I have to say, my dear good people, that Brother Harold Lovell stood up as Minister of Finance, responsible for ensuring that whatever financial resources that we have at our disposal, that those resources are expended in a manner that will bring the greatest good to the greatest number. My dear good people, he has done a good job with the help of his colleagues and with your help to charter the course in very difficult and trying times. And I want to take this opportunity to commend him highly for the work that he has been able to do. It has not been easy. Sometimes, my dear good people, he would have had to stand up and deal with certain situations. Sometimes, even when some of us in cabinet may not fully appreciate the effect of the situation. And my dear good people, I am saying to you, great people of St. John City East, you would be making a mortal error, an unpardonable error, if you were to give any favorable consideration to the other side, the other candidate, whoever that may be. As far as I'm concerned, he will remain nameless. But whoever the other candidate may be, my dear good people, that name should just be written in, but with no consideration whatsoever. But brothers and sisters, I want to say to you that we have got to take these elections extremely seriously. I want to urge all of us to take the upcoming elections seriously. We have to understand what is at stake. We have to recognize and realize that this is the most crucial elections in the history of Antigua and Barbuda in modern times. And you have got to understand the task that is at hand. It's whether or not we are going to return to the dark days of corruption, wickedness, and deceit, or whether we are going to move forward and to build upon the efforts that have been made over the past 10 years to chart a new course and to put Antigua and Barbuda firmly and truly on the road of sustainable growth and development. My dear good people, I want to say to you that Antigua and Barbuda, against the backdrop of the serious challenges that the world would have faced, Antigua and Barbuda has done well. My dear good people, we are given greater credit in other parts of the world, in the other parts of the Caribbean and further afield. This administration has been given tremendous credit for what we have been able to do to keep this economy and keep this country afloat. My dear good people, of all the Caribbean islands right now, Antigua and Barbuda ranks among the 3 top countries in the Caribbean that is showing signs of serious development coming out. That is a fact, my dear good people. The record will show that Antigua and Barbuda is ranked among the 3 Caribbean countries that are showing movements for growth and development. Over the past 3 years, my dear good people, we have seen some growth in Antigua and Barbuda, albeit between 1.5% and 2.5%. But in other places, my dear good people, it was zero growth. It was minus growth. Antigua and Barbuda is definitely turning the corner, my dear good people. And this is why you've got to stay the course. This is why you've got to remain firm. This is why you've got to keep the faith. Because this country is moving forward, my dear good people. We have had our challenges. We have had our difficulties, my dear good people. But we have held things together. Held things together. Just imagine, my dear good people, and I have to say so all the time, because these vagabonds keep saying to you that Antigua and Barbuda have so much poor people here, and things are so bad, and all kind of things. My dear good people, those comments do not accord with the facts. What I'm saying to you is that, yes, we have challenges, and we know that in certain areas, families have had to go through some serious difficulties. But this administration has done everything in its power to ensure that we try to help the most vulnerable in society throughout this period of difficulty. But the reality is, my dear good people, when you compare what is happening in other countries, when you examine the poverty level throughout the entire Caribbean, my dear good people, we didn't say so. The World Bank and other international institutions would have carried out their various studies. They would have examined what is happening in the various countries. And my dear good people, the most recent results would have shown that when it comes to living below the poverty line, you have Haiti up there with 48% of its population living below the poverty line. And then you go right down, you have others at 30 and 25 and all kind of different. And when you look at Antigua and Barbuda, what do you think they say? What do you think the results are? The results in the case of Antigua and Barbuda is 12%, the lowest throughout the entire Caribbean, Antigua and Barbuda right now. Those are the facts, my dear good people. Those are the facts. And that is so because of the tremendous work of the United Progressive Party, led by your humble servant. We have steered the ship of state. That is what we have done in difficult times to charted waters, my dear good people. We are on the road of taking Antigua upwards and forwards. And we cannot at this time allow ourselves to be fooled into thinking that there is something better on the other side. There is nothing better on the other side. Absolutely nothing better on the other side, my dear good people. You have got to stay with what you know. You have got to stay, my dear good people, with what would have tested. What you have tested, my dear good people. You know where your heart is. You know where your soul is. You know we are about people. We are a people-oriented party. We might not have solved all the problems. We have accomplished a lot, but there's a lot more work to do, my dear good people. And I can tell you that there are better days ahead, my dear good people. We're beginning to see it, the light at the end of the tunnel. Good things are on the horizon. There is tremendous hope for a exciting future for Antigua and Barbuda. There are a number of activities, my dear good people. We have begun to roll out some of them already. But as the months go by in 2014, and by the time God help us and we can see 2015, Antigua and Barbuda will be moving strong and vigorous with the economy turning around. My dear good people, we promise you that because we know it is so. We know it is so. It would be a travesty. It would be one of the biggest retrograde steps that the people of Antigua and Barbuda could make in their political life, to return to the vomit that we spitted out in 2004. The job is not yet complete. We have got to move on in the process of transformation of Antigua and Barbuda. We are the ones who are capable of doing it. And they talk about change, and I must repeat this. If we're talking about any change, we are the change. The United Progressive Party is the change. We have demonstrated it, and we will continue to do so in the future. All we're asking is for your help and your continued support, your love and your caring, my dear good people. We love you, and I know you love us. And together, we can make a good love team, my dear good people. Because that is what is important. And so, my dear good people, as we go through this campaign, you have got to continue to rally with us. On Sunday, my dear good people, we will be at Fry's Bay. That will what we call a family day. I want the entire family to come out. Let us have a wonderful day at Fry's. Together, love and caring and camaraderie, brothers and sisters, young and old. Let us take Fry's Bay with a storm on Sunday, my dear good people. Let us gather there and show our strength and commitment and our determination to make sure that when the election comes, we will be ready. And my dear good people, let me just say this. They can march. They can have motorcade. They can picket. They can do whatever they like. It's between God and me. We'll decide when the elections are going to be. I will not be intimidated. I will not be moved. I will not be moved. I'm not deterred. We all should know me by now. Me and somebody that make plenty noise and go around and say it. But when we are in position, we are in position. And that is it. When the Lord and I communicate and we settle, then you will know when the elections are called. Nobody else is going to determine that. Nobody else. So my dear good people, they can rant and rave. They can make noise and say, call this and call that. But I just want to tell them, I am not intimidated or perturbed or anything like that. I'll go about my business. I'll do what I have to do. While they're making the noises, I'm working. I'm working on behalf of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Every day I go to my office, and every day I'm trying to deal with the situation. When the election comes, the election will come. And I know the people of Antigua and Barbuda will do. Don't you agree? And you know what you're going to do? And you know what you're going to do? That is it. So I will not be pressured. I will not be pressured. No way. My dear good people, I want to say to you that you have resigned your confidence in me. And you trust me, don't you, to determine when this will be done. It will be done in your interest and in the interest of Antigua and Barbuda. And I just want to clarify one thing, because these guys are vagabonds. They're a bunch of scoundrels. They're a bunch of liars. They're a bunch of twisters of the truth. My dear good people, they're giving the public, and this is the last point I want to make, because I don't want the police to come and say, go on over 11 o'clock. But even if I do, I want them to give me a little chance. My dear good people, you know, they talk about this thing about 5 years gone since the 12th of March and this and that and the other. And they jolly well know what the Constitution says. We are guided by the Constitution. And the Constitution says certain things about when the term ends after an election and when the next term begins. It is clear. The Constitution states it. But my dear good people, what is so disingenuous and wicked by these people? They are giving the impression that what has happened now would have never happened in Antigua and Barbuda before. That is a blatant lie. I can tell you, there were elections in Antigua in 1965 when the Labour Party won the elections in 1965. It was held in November. You understand what I'm saying? November 1965. So the next elections, if you were to follow their logic, would have had to be held by November of 1970. Do you remember when the elections were held? The elections were held in February of 1971 when the PLM won for the first time. That was after the 5 years had elapsed. And that was well within the constitutional arrangements. So they come and tell you, they give you the impression that we're doing this and we're doing that. The Labour Party could not be said to be squatting at that time because it was well within the constitutional arrangements. The 5 years had elapsed in November of 1965. So therefore, if you follow what they're saying, the elections therefore should have been held by November of 1970. The elections were not held until February of 1971 when the Labour Party won, and that was right. That was okay. But no, and the thing about it, my dear good people, they don't want to hold themselves responsible for any delay with these elections. But they have to hold themselves responsible because they tie up everything in court. The boundaries are in court. The register in court. So how are you going to have an election when we haven't decided what the boundaries are going to be and what the election list is going to be? But you know, despite what they want is a situation where they get what they want. That is what is happening. They want to get where they want. They want all boundaries and they want all lists. That is what they want. Because this is why, this is the only basis upon which an early election could be called. By ignoring what they're doing and giving them what they want. I want to tell them, despite all what they say about me, I do not eat Foolie Bush. I never ate Foolie Bush. If anything, I drink Cook's Pan water. And so, brothers and sisters, I want to tell you that whatever it is, and whenever the elections are called, we are going to go there and we're going to bang them again. Are you hearing me? Are you listening to me? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? We are going to beat them again because our cause is right. Our cause is just. The UPP has delivered. We have done our best for Antigua and Barbuda. And we have the prescription for the future direction of Antigua and Barbuda. So, brothers and sisters, the clarion call is to keep the faith, be strong. And let me tell you, I want you, don't want you to get in no problems with nobody. As I say, if you don't trouble them, they mustn't trouble you either. And if they trouble you, don't tell the police. The police and them say, well, you got to be careful. I say, but me say, if they trouble you unnecessarily, right, you impose the St. Paul's law. You understand what I'm saying? You know what the St. Paul's law say? I am not preaching anything. I'm just saying, my dear good people, we are not going out there interfering nobody. We are not going into dating and trying to create dissension and intimidation. We are going about our business, campaigning, and knowing, my dear good people, that our cause is right and just. So all I want to say to you, remain firm, calm but resolute. But if anybody trouble you and try to create problems for you, you also impose the St. Paul's law. All of you know what the St. Paul's law is. So my dear good people, I want to urge all of us to keep the faith. We have nothing to be ashamed of. Your government has performed and will continue to perform in your interest. So I want to hear you, yes! 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 We have them! We have them! We have them! Again, good night. May God bless you. Have a safe journey home. See you at 5 on Sunday. Come out in your numbers with your colors and everything, my dear good people. Thank you very much.